Have you ever wondered how a boy born with nothing on the freezing steppe became the ruler of the largest land empire the world has ever seen? This story follows Temujin, the man later known as Genghis Khan, from his harsh childhood and betrayals, through brutal battles and genius strategy, all the way to the birth of the Mongol Empire. It reveals how he united warring tribes, crushed powerful kingdoms, and changed the course of history. Stay until the end to see the 3 key reasons his empire rose so fast, and to decide whether he was a brilliant nation builder or one of history's most ruthless conquerors. Temujin was born around 1162, somewhere near the Onon River and the sacred mountain of Burkhan Khaldun in what is now northeastern Mongolia. His people lived on the Eurasian steppe, a vast grassland stretching thousands of miles. Life there was hard. Food, safety, and power depended on horses, weapons, and alliances. Temujin's father, Yesugei, was a Mongol chieftain. His mother, Hoelun, had been taken from another tribe, the Merkit, which created a bitter blood feud. Temujin grew up in a world where families and clans fought over every insult, every horse, and every patch of land. From a young age, Temujin learned to ride, shoot arrows from horseback, hunt, and survive in brutal conditions. He also watched the politics of the steppe. Tribes like the Mongols, Karate, Merkit, Naiman, and Tartars constantly forming and breaking alliances. He made one important childhood bond with a boy named Jamuga. The two swore brotherhood. That promise would one day turn into a deadly rivalry. At about 9 years old, Temujin was taken by his father to be betrothed to a girl named Borte from the Ongirat tribe. On the way home, Yesugei met a group of Tartars who invited him to a feast. Bound by the steppe rules of hospitality, he accepted. They poisoned him. Yesugei died soon after, and Temujin's world collapsed. His family was abandoned by their own clan, the Taichiud. Hoelun and her children were left alone on the steppe, with almost no animals and no protection. They were forced to hunt and fish just to survive. Hunger and pressure led to conflict at home. When Temujin's older half-brother Begter tried to dominate the younger brothers and took their food, Temujin and his brother Kasar killed him. This act gave the Taichiud a reason to act. They captured Temujin, put a wooden collar around his neck, and kept him as a prisoner. But one night, Temujin knocked out a guard and escaped, helped by a man who took pity on him. He hid in the reeds and the dark until it was safe. By his early teens, Temujin had lost his father, his status, his safety, and almost his life. All that remained was his will to fight back. Slowly, Temujin began to rebuild. He won the loyalty of brave men like Boorku and Borokul. With their help, he recovered stolen horses, defended his family, and built a small but loyal band of followers. As a teenager, he went back to claim Borta as his wife from her father, Dai Sechen. This marriage would bring him both strength and pain. One night, a large Merkit raiding party attacked Temujin's camp. They carried off Borte as revenge for the Merkit woman Yesugei had taken years before Hoelun. Temujin escaped with his family, but losing Borte was a deep humiliation. Temujin then turned to his father's old sworn brother Togrul, Khan of the Karit, and to his old friend Jamuga. Together they formed a powerful alliance, struck back at the Merkit, and rescued Borte. During her time in Merkit captivity, Borte had become pregnant. Her first son, Joki, may not have been Temujin's biological child, but Temujin accepted him as his own. This act of acceptance showed something important. While Temujin could be brutal, he could also be practical and strategic when it came to family and loyalty. In the years that followed, Temujin's power grew. So did Jamuga's. Over time, their paths split. Jamuga represented the old ways of the Mongol nobility. Temujin was different. He promoted men based on talent, not birth. Warriors like Jelme and Subadei came from humble backgrounds, yet Temujin trusted them with key roles. This new style of leadership drew many brave men to his side, but it also made him enemies. In 1187, Jamuga defeated Temujin in a major battle. Temujin lost many followers and disappeared from the sources for a time. Yet he did not give up. He rebuilt, learned, and waited. By the 1190s, Temujin had new opportunities. He fought alongside the Jin dynasty of northern China against common enemies like the Tartars. Victories brought him wealth, weapons, and prestige. Step by step, he broke the power of rival tribes, the Tartars, the Merkit, and others. Each defeat pushed more people to choose sides. Many saw Temujin as the future. As Temujin's power grew, so did the fear of other leaders. A huge coalition formed under Jamuga and other chiefs to destroy him, but this alliance was clumsy and divided. Many inside it quietly preferred Temujin's rule and passed him crucial information. In a series of battles, Temujin outwitted his enemies. During one campaign, he was shot in the neck with a poisoned arrow. His general Jelme sucked the poison from the wound and saved his life. When the archer who had wounded him was captured, Temujin did something unusual. Instead of executing him, he praised the man's skill and took him into his service. This archer became known as Jebi, the Arrow, one of Temujin's greatest future commanders. After crushing the Naiman and other rivals, Temujin stood almost alone as the dominant power on the steppe. Jamuga, the once beloved friend and then bitter enemy, was on the run. When Jamuga's last followers betrayed him and brought him to Temujin in chains, Temujin punished the traitors for their disloyalty. Jamuga requested a noble death, and Temujin granted it. With his last great rival gone, Temujin was now the undisputed master of the Mongol tribes. In 1206, a great Kuriltai, or Grand Council, was held. The leaders of the tribes gathered and proclaimed Temujin as Genghis Khan, often translated as universal ruler. This was more than just a new title. It marked the birth of a new state. Genghis reorganized his people. Instead of clans and tribes fighting each other, he created a decimal system of military units, groups of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, called a tumen. Every man belonged to this structure, cutting across old clan lines. He created his own bodyguard, the Keshig, made up of the sons of powerful men. This was both protection and a clever way to keep the nobility loyal. Genghis also introduced a law code known as the Great Yasa. It combined old steppe customs with strict new rules for military discipline, social behavior, and loyalty. Religious leaders and foreign merchants were often given tax breaks, helping trade flow across his growing empire. Now united, the Mongols were hungry for war, plunder, and glory. To keep his warriors rewarded and loyal, Genghis had to look beyond Mongolia's borders. First, Genghis turned to nearby powers. He forced the forest peoples of the north into submission and attacked the Tangut Western Xia to the south, making them pay tribute. Then he went after a bigger target, the Jin dynasty in northern China. In 1211, Genghis led an army of around 100,000 horsemen south. The Mongols used their usual tactics: speed, deception, and terror. They struck fast, feigned retreats, and tricked Jin armies into leaving strong positions. One by one, Jin field forces were destroyed. Cities fell, crops were burned, and people were left starving. By 1215, the Mongols had captured the Jin capital of Zhongdu, near modern-day Beijing. The city was sacked. Populations fell sharply. Northern China had been shaken to its core. But even this was not the limit of Genghis Khan's ambition. While the war in China continued, trouble arose in the west. In the Khwarezmian Empire, stretching across Central Asia, a Mongol trade caravan was killed and Genghis's envoys were executed. This insult sparked one of the most destructive campaigns in medieval history. Between 1219 and 1221, Genghis led a massive invasion. His generals Jebe and Subadeh executed brilliant maneuvers, attacking from multiple directions. Great cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, Khiva, Gurganj, Merv, and Nishapur were besieged and destroyed. The Shah fled, pursued across his collapsing empire, and died in exile. Millions may have died in the fighting, massacres, and famine that followed. At the same time, Mongol forces pushed even farther. Jebe and Subadeh carried out a long-distance raid through the Caucasus into the lands of the Cumans and Russian principalities, winning a crushing victory at the Battle of the Kalka River in 1223. It was a preview of the Mongol advance into Europe that would come later. After returning to Mongolia, Genghis turned once more to China, determined to punish the Tangut for betraying their earlier promises. Old and injured after a fall from his horse, he still led one last campaign. In 1227, while his armies were closing in on the Tangut capital, Genghis Khan died. He was around 65 years old. His burial place remains unknown to this day, hidden by his followers and lost to history. His empire did not die with him. Under his son Ogadai, the Mongols pushed deeper into China, the Middle East, and Europe. Later, under his grandson Kublai Khan, they completed the conquest of China and founded the Yuan dynasty. Genghis Khan's legacy is vast and complex. The Mongol Empire became the largest continuous land empire in history. It opened new trade routes, moved people and ideas across continents, and reshaped countries from China to Persia to Russia. But the cost was enormous. Destroyed cities, millions of deaths, and scars that lasted for centuries. Great leader or ruthless conqueror? Genghis Khan's success rested on three main pillars. Unity. He turned divided tribes into one disciplined nation. Military power. He used fast cavalry, flexible tactics, and psychological warfare better than any rival. Opportunity. He exploited a moment when China was divided and the great Muslim powers were weakened. The question remains, was Genghis Khan a brilliant empire builder who forged order out of chaos and created a new kind of state on the steppe? Or was he a ruthless conqueror whose armies brought terror and destruction on an unimaginable scale? Tell us what you think of Genghis Khan in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, also subscribe for more.